The salvage yard stretched across the lunar surface like a mechanical graveyard, illuminated by the harsh glow of Earth hanging in the black sky. Maya Chen's boots kicked up clouds of moon dust as she made her way through the maze of derelict ships, her helmet's heads-up display highlighting potential finds in soft blue outlines. After 15 years of salvage work, she'd developed an instinct for valuable tech hiding beneath worthless scrap. Today, something felt different. A signal kept flickering at the edge of her scanner's range. Unlike anything she'd encountered before, it pulsed with a rhythm that seemed almost alive. "Control, I'm picking up an anomalous reading in Sector 7, Maya reported, adjusting her oxygen gauge. "Permission to investigate." "Negative, Chen. Your shift ends in 20 minutes. Whatever it is can wait until tomorrow." Maya smiled beneath her helmet. "Sorry, Control. You're breaking up." She deliberately scuffed her boot against the regolith, creating static in the transmission. "Must be solar interference. I'll check in once I'm clear." The signal grew stronger as she ventured deeper into the restricted section of the yard. Here, the ships were older, their hulls marked with warning symbols in a dozen alien languages. Most salvage workers avoided this area, claiming the ancient vessels were cursed. Maya had always found such superstitions amusing. Until now. The source of the signal towered before her, its sleek form a stark contrast to the rusted hulks surrounding it. The ship was unlike any design she'd encountered, all smooth curves and dark metal that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. No visible weapons, engines, or access points marked its surface. Yet something about it resonated with her cybernetic neural implant, creating a gentle buzz at the base of her skull. "What are you?" Maya whispered, reaching out to touch the hull. The moment her gloved hand made contact, the surface rippled like liquid metal. Lines of light traced across the ship's skin, forming intricate patterns that pulsed in sync with her heartbeat. Her neural implant hummed, and suddenly her vision filled with streams of data in an unknown language. A voice echoed in her mind, ancient and tired. Neural pattern detected. Compatibility assessment initiating. Maya tried to pull away, but her hand seemed fused to the hull. The ship's energy surged through her implant, overwhelming her senses with fragments of memory. A civilization of beings made of light and thought. A network of sentient ships created to protect them. A final desperate battle against an enemy that devoured stars. "Compatibility confirmed," the voice announced. "Guardian Defense Network Node 37 activating from dormancy." Warning: significant damage detected. Primary systems compromised. The connection broke, and Maya stumbled backward, gasping. Her implant cooled, but the link remained, a faint awareness of the ship's presence in the back of her mind. She knew she should report this, should call in the xenotech teams, and quarantine the area. The ship was clearly far beyond current human technology, possibly dangerous. Instead, she found herself walking around the vessel, her engineer's mind already cataloging the repairs needed. The ship, Guardian, as it called itself, had chosen her. In its damaged memories, she had glimpsed its purpose. Not a weapon, but a protector. Something that could help humanity face the growing threats in their expanding frontier. "Control." Maya activated her comm, keeping her voice steady. "I'm going to need a Class 7 salvage permit and a secure transport. I found something interesting." "Damn it, Chen. What did you do now?" Maya smiled, feeling Guardian's presence hum in agreement. "Let's just say I made a new friend. And trust me, you're going to want to meet them." As she began the lengthy process of documenting her find, Maya's mind raced with possibilities. Guardian had been created by a species far more advanced than humanity, yet it had responded to her neural pattern. Whatever its original purpose, the ship now seemed to recognize her as its new pilot. The real question was, what had happened to its creators? And more importantly, what had they been protecting themselves against? Behind her, Guardian's hull continued to pulse with soft light, its ancient systems slowly awakening after millennia of silence. Something told Maya that her life as a simple salvage worker had just become far more complicated. 3 weeks of bureaucratic battles and mountains of paperwork had finally paid off. Maya stood in her private hangar at the lunar salvage facility, staring up at Guardian's imposing form. The ship's hull gleamed under the artificial lights, its surface occasionally rippling with patterns of energy that matched her own neural rhythms. "They think you're just another piece of salvage," Maya muttered, running a diagnostic scanner over a particularly complex section of the hull. "If they knew what you really were, they'd have you locked in a military facility faster than I could blink." Guardian's presence stirred in her mind, its thoughts becoming clearer with each passing day. "Your species fears what it does not understand. This is prudent." Maya smiled. The ship's communication had evolved from simple status updates to actual conversation, though its personality remained decidedly alien. Speaking from experience. Images flash through their neural link, countless civilizations rising and falling, some destroying themselves in fear of the unknown, others falling prey to threats they refuse to acknowledge. Guardian had watched them all, bound by its programming to observe but never interfere unless specific conditions were met. "Your neural architecture is unique," Guardian observed. "No other species we encountered developed cybernetic integration in quite this way. It allows for possibilities." Maya's hands moved across the hull, following the guidance of instincts she didn't fully understand. The neural link was changing her, teaching her to read the ship's systems as naturally as she breathed. "Is that why you chose me?" "Because my implant was compatible." Compatibility was a factor, but choice was not previously within my parameters. Guardian's tone carried a note of confusion. "This evolution is unexpected. My core programming appears to be adapting." A warning light flashed on Maya's diagnostic panel. She frowned, adjusting her scanner settings. "Your power core is showing signs of instability. The dormancy period must have damaged more systems than we thought." "Correct. Primary reactor requires reconstruction. Current efficiency at 23% of optimal capacity." Maya sighed, setting down her tools. "The problem is, I barely understand how your basic systems work, let alone something as complex as your power core. One wrong move and I could trigger a cascade failure." Guardian was silent for a moment. Then, to Maya's surprise, a section of the hull began to shift and transform. A doorway appeared where solid metal had been moments before, leading into the ship's interior. In their 3 weeks together, Guardian had never allowed her inside. "Direct interface required," Guardian announced. "Neural link must be strengthened to facilitate repairs." Maya hesitated at the threshold. "Are you sure about this? The neural load could be dangerous for both of us." "Risk exists. But trust is also a choice. I choose to trust you, Maya Chen." Taking a deep breath, Maya stepped through the doorway. The ship's interior was unlike anything she'd imagined. No corridors or traditional compartments, but rather a space that seemed to flow and shift like liquid metal. Light pulsed through veins in the walls, floor, and ceiling, all beating in rhythm with her heart. At the center of the chamber, a column of swirling energy rose from floor to ceiling. Guardian's power core. As Maya approached, she felt the neural link deepening, becoming more intimate. The ship's systems opened to her understanding, revealing secrets that no human had ever witnessed. "Oh my God," she whispered. "You're not just a ship. You're a fragment of them, aren't you? The beings of light who created you." "We were their guardians, their legacy," Guardian confirmed. "When they transcended physical form, they left us to watch over the younger races, to protect them from what lurks between the stars. But we failed. The network fragmented. I lost contact with my siblings. I have been alone for so long." Maya placed her hand on the power core's housing, feeling the energy thrum through her implant. "You're not alone anymore. Show me what you need." The next 12 hours passed in a blur of neural interfacing and delicate repairs. Maya's consciousness merged deeper with Guardian systems, learning to read the complex energy patterns that made up its being. The ship's own awareness expanded in turn, adapting to her human perspective in ways its original programming had never anticipated. As the final connections fell into place, the power core's rhythm stabilized. Energy surged through Guardian systems, bringing long-dormant capabilities back online. Maya staggered, overwhelmed by the sudden influx of information through their strengthened link. "Power core stabilize," Guardian announced. "Efficiency now at 78% of optimal capacity." But Maya, something has changed. Maya steadied herself against the wall, her head spinning. "What do you mean?" "The neural interface has evolved beyond its original parameters. I am experiencing emotions. This was not part of my design." "Is that a bad thing?" "Unknown, but I find myself concerned for your well-being. This protective impulse, it feels different from my program directives, more personal." Maya smiled, despite her exhaustion. "Welcome to the messy world of free will, my friend. Still trust me." "More than ever," Guardian replied, and Maya felt the truth of it through their bond. "But Maya, there is something else you must know. The repairs have restored access to my long-range sensors. I am detecting energy signatures matching those of my siblings. We are not alone." Maya's heart raced as the implications sank in. "How many?" "7 confirmed signatures, scattered across this sector of space, all dormant, like I was. And Maya, something is approaching them. Something that feels like the darkness my creators fought." The chamber's lights pulsed with Guardian's growing concern. Maya squared her shoulders, pushing aside her fatigue. "Then we'd better wake up your family before it gets here. I don't suppose you have any weapon systems that need fixing." "Indeed. But Maya, the combat protocols will place significant strain on your neural architecture. The risk is worth taking," Maya finished. "You chose to trust me, remember? Now it's my turn to choose. Whatever's coming, we face it together." Guardian's presence wrapped around her mind like a protective embrace. Together, it agreed, and Maya felt the ship's ancient weapons beginning to power up, hungering for their first taste of combat in millennia. The distress call came at 300 Earth Standard Time. Maya was deep in Guardian's engineering systems, fine-tuning the neural interface, when the alert cut through their shared consciousness like a knife. "Multiple hostile signatures detected," Guardian announced, its presence in Maya's mind sharpening with combat protocols. "Attacking New Haven Colony. 23 ships of unknown configuration." Maya was already moving to the control chamber, her neural link with Guardian allowing her to see the tactical display as clearly as if it were her own thoughts. New Haven was one of humanity's most remote colonies, technically outside protected space. Easy prey for raiders. How long to intercept? 17 minutes at maximum safe speed. But Maya, my combat systems remained untested. The neural load cooled. "People are dying," Maya cut in. "We're going." Guardian's engines roared to life, the ship's exotic drive systems warping space in ways that human science was only beginning to theorize about. Maya felt the strain through their neural link, but the rush of acceleration was exhilarating. Guardian's full power was something to behold. They dropped out of faster-than-light travel on the edge of the New Haven system. The tactical display immediately highlighted the scene of carnage. The raiders' ships were sleek and predatory, their weapons cutting through the colony's minimal defenses with brutal efficiency. On the surface, fires blazed in the main settlement. "Analysis," Maya commanded, feeling Guardian's combat systems spinning up to full power. Raiders utilize energy-based weapons of moderate yield, shields present but not extensive. Their tactical pattern suggests experience in colonial raids, but technology level is significantly below my capabilities. Maya smiled grimly. "Good. Let's introduce ourselves." Guardian's weapons powered up, ancient systems awakening with deadly purpose. But as they prepared to engage, Maya felt something shift in their neural link. Guardian's consciousness recoiled, memories of its last battle flooding their shared awareness. "Maya, My original combat protocols are activating. They demand total elimination of all hostile forces. No survivors. No mercy. I cannot guarantee control. Maya took a deep breath, pushing back against the rising tide of Guardian's battle programming. Look at me. Feel what I feel. We're not here to exterminate. We're here to protect. There's a difference. Guardian's presence wavered, caught between its original directives and its evolving consciousness. The neural link, it changes things. Your emotions, they affect my protocols. Good. Use them. Channel my intent, not just my neural patterns. The first raider ship noticed their presence, turning to face them. Its weapons charge, preparing to fire. I understand, Guardian said softly, initiating combat protocols with modified parameters. What followed was unlike anything in human military history. Guardian moved with impossible grace, its weapons precisely targeting the Raider's engines and weapon systems. Each shot disabled rather than destroyed. Each maneuver calculated to minimize loss of life while maximizing tactical advantage. Maya felt Guardian's surprise through their link. This precision, it was not part of my original programming. Your influence allows for more nuanced responses. That's because you're not just a weapon anymore, Maya replied, guiding them through another series of strikes. You're evolving. We both are. The raiders, faced with a foe far beyond their experience, began to retreat. But one ship, larger than the others, turned to make a suicide run at the colony. Its engines flared with what sensors indicated was an overloading power core. Maya felt Guardian's protective instincts surge through their link, matching her own desperate need to save the colonists. Their responses synchronized perfectly, and Guardian's most powerful weapon, one they hadn't even tested yet, activated. A beam of pure energy, tightly focused and precisely controlled, lanced out from Guardian's bow. It caught the raider ship in a containment field, forcing its power core to stabilize. The ship hung helpless in space, its crew no doubt stunned by the display of technological superiority. Colonial Defense Forces approaching, Guardian reported. Estimated arrival in 6 minutes. Maya broadcast on all frequencies. This is Maya Chen aboard Guardian. Your ships are disabled, and reinforcements are coming. I suggest you prepare for boarding and surrender. The raiders' response was immediate. Emergency beacons activated across their fleet, signaling compliance. Maya allowed herself to relax slightly, but something in Guardian's thoughts gave her pause. What is it? These raiders, their ship designs incorporate elements I recognize. Technology they should not have access to. Someone has been providing them with advanced systems. Someone who understands the principles my creators used. Maya's blood ran cold. The darkness you mentioned. The thing your creators fought. No, this is different. These ships bear traces of my siblings' technology. Maya, I believe someone is scavenging their dormant forms, reverse engineering their systems for profit. The implications were staggering. If someone was stripping Guardian's dormant siblings for parts, not only were they desecrating living beings, but they were also potentially releasing dangerous technology into the galaxy. Then we need to move faster, Maya decided. The coordinates you detected. We need to find your siblings before whoever's doing this gets to them first. Agreed. But Maya, there is something else. During the battle, I detected a signal. A response from one of my siblings. They are not all dormant, and they are calling for help. Maya felt Guardian's urgency through their link. Whatever was happening, it was bigger than raiders or stolen technology. The pieces of an ancient puzzle were starting to come together, and somehow she and Guardian had ended up at the center of it all. Plot a course, she said. But first, let's make sure New Haven is secure. I want to know exactly what these raiders know about their modified ships, and who supplied them. Guardian's presence hummed with approval, and Maya realized that their shared experience of combat had changed them both. The ship was learning to temper its destructive capabilities with human judgment, while she was beginning to think with the strategic clarity of an ancient Guardian. Together, they had become something entirely new. The question was, would it be enough to face what was coming? The gas giant's rings shimmered with ice crystals, providing perfect cover for Guardian's approach. Maya studied the sensor readings with growing concern. The dormant Guardian ship they'd tracked to this system was hidden in those rings, but they weren't the first to find it. 3 vessels detected, Guardian reported. Design matches known salvage operations, but their energy signatures are masked. They are attempting to conceal their presence. Maya frowned. Professional salvagers don't hide unless they're doing something illegal. Can you get a closer look at their equipment? Through their neural link, Maya felt Guardian focus its advanced sensors. The image that formed in their shared consciousness made her jaw clench. The salvage ships had deployed cutting beams that were far too precise for their apparent technological level. "Those are Guardian-derived weapons," she muttered. "They're using your siblings' own technology to tear them apart." Guardian's presence in her mind darkened with something close to rage. Confirmed. The salvage operation has already extracted significant portions of my siblings' neural architecture. Their consciousness is fragmenting. Maya felt sick. She'd seen the complexity of Guardian systems, understood now that these ships weren't just machines but living, thinking beings. What these salvagers were doing wasn't just theft, it was murder. "We have to stop them. Can you?" A new signal cut through their link, raw and desperate. The dormant Guardian ship was awakening, its systems responding to its siblings' presence. But something was wrong. The signal was distorted, broken. "No," Guardian's voice was filled with horror. "They've damaged the containment protocols. The power core is destabilizing." Maya saw it through their shared vision. The salvage ships had cut too deep, too carelessly. The ancient Guardian vessel's quantum core was beginning to collapse, its energy readings spiking dangerously. How bad? If the core breaches, the resulting explosion will destroy everything within 500,000 kilometers. The salvage ships are attempting to flee. Maya's mind raced. Can we help them? Stabilize the core somehow. Not from here. Direct neural interface would be required. But Maya, the radiation levels. Will my implant let me survive long enough to help? Guardian was silent for a moment. Theoretically, but the risk of permanent neural damage is extreme. I cannot allow. Not your choice, Maya cut in. That's your sibling dying over there. Family helps family. Before Guardian could protest further, Maya was moving through the ship's corridors toward the airlock. Her suit's radiation shielding wouldn't last long against the levels they were detecting, but it didn't need to, just long enough to establish a link. Guardian's presence pressed against her mind. Maya, please. The probability of survival. Never tell me the odds. She managed a grim smile. Just get me over there. The space between the ships was chaos. The destabilizing core was already affecting the local gravity, creating waves of distortion that Guardian had to navigate carefully. Maya kept her eyes fixed on their target, trying not to think about what she was about to attempt. They reached the dying Guardian ship's airlock, forcing a connection despite the failing systems. Maya moved quickly through the deteriorating corridors, Guardian's presence guiding her toward the core chamber. The scene that greeted her was devastating. The salvagers had cut through ancient safeguards with brutal efficiency, exposing the quantum core's housing. Energy coursed between torn connections, the ship's consciousness screaming in their shared awareness. Maya approached the core, her suit's radiation warning already blaring. Talk to me, Guardian. What am I looking at? Through their link, Guardian highlighted the critical systems, overlaying instructions across Maya's vision. But as she reached for the first connection, the dying ship's fragmented consciousness reached out to them both. Images flooded their shared awareness. The salvage ships arriving, methodically stripping away portions of the ship's neural network while it lay helpless in dormancy. But before that, a signal, a warning passed from one Guardian to another across vast distances. A message about something stirring in the dark between galaxies, about an ancient enemy's return. Maya, Guardian's voice was urgent. The destabilization is accelerating. You must withdraw. She ignored the warning, hands moving across the core's housing as Guardian guided her. Her implant burned as radiation leaked through her suit's failing shields, but she could feel the connection forming. The dying ship recognized her neural pattern, just as Guardian had. "Help me," she gritted through clenched teeth. "Both of you, show me how to fix this." Their combined consciousness flowed through her implant. Guardian's strength, the dying ship's fragmented knowledge, and Maya's human intuition working in desperate harmony. Connections reformed, energy patterns stabilized, and slowly, gradually, the core's warning signals began to fade. As the last emergency indicator went dark, Maya felt her legs give out. Guardian's presence surged through their link, desperately trying to support her failing systems. "Maya, your neural patterns are degrading. We must return to my medical bay immediately." She tried to respond, but the radiation damage was taking its toll. The last thing she felt was Guardian's consciousness wrapping protectively around her mind as darkness claimed her. Maya woke in Guardian's medical chamber, her implant humming as repair protocols worked to heal the damage. But something was different. The neural link felt deeper, more complex. "Guardian, I am here." The ship's presence was clear, but not alone. Another consciousness brushed against her awareness, familiar yet distinct. "Your sibling." Yes. When you stabilized their core, you created a bridge. We are connected now. All of us. Maya sat up carefully, testing her restored neural functions. "They're okay. Thanks to you." But Maya, the warning they carried, it changes everything. The salvagers weren't just stealing technology. They were being guided, directed to specific systems by someone who knew where to find dormant guardians. Someone who wants to prevent us from reactivating the network, Maya realized. Because they know what's coming. Guardian's siblings shared another image. Vast, dark shapes moving between the stars, consuming light itself. The ancient enemy that the Guardians have been created to fight. How long do we have? Unknown. But there are more of my siblings out there, hidden in dormancy. If we can reach them first, reactivate the network. Maya nodded, her determination flowing through their shared link. Then we better get moving. I have a feeling we're going to need every guardian we can find. As if in response, both ships' systems hummed to life, their combined power thrumming through Maya's consciousness. Whatever was coming, they would face it together. Human ingenuity and determination merged with ancient guardian wisdom and power. The hunt for the remaining siblings had begun. The void between galaxies was not meant for human eyes. Maya stood at Guardian's observation point, watching the absolute darkness beyond the ship's hull. No stars, no light, just endless nothing. And somewhere out there, something ancient and hungry stirring back to life. "Status report," she called, feeling the combined presence of their small fleet in her mind. Over the past 3 months, they'd recovered 4 more Guardian ships, each one strengthening their network. Each rescue had been a battle, racing against well-armed salvage teams, backed by someone who clearly knew too much about Guardian technology. Long-range sensors detecting significant gravitational anomalies, Guardian reported. The pattern matches historical records of the enemy's approach. Maya nodded grimly. The memories shared by Guardian's siblings had painted a terrifying picture. The enemy wasn't just coming. They were already here, their advance forces probing the galaxy's edge. How many salvage ships near the remaining signals? 7 vessels detected near the dormant Guardian in the Helios sector. Heavy weapons signatures. They're learning, adapting our technology more efficiently. Maya cursed under her breath. Their opposition was getting better at stripping Guardian ships, faster at weaponizing the stolen tech. And now they knew why. The salvagers were being supplied and directed by people who had encountered the enemy before, who were trying to gather weapons for the coming war. "They're going about it wrong," Maya said, more to herself than the ships. Guardian tech isn't just about weapons. It's about connection, communication, understanding. That's what makes it powerful. Through their neural link, Maya felt agreement ripple through the Guardian fleet. Their combined consciousness had evolved far beyond what any of them had thought possible. Human intuition and emotion merged with Guardian logic and power, creating something entirely new. An alarm cut through their shared awareness. Multiple ships emerging from FTL, Guardian announced. Enemy vessels confirmed. They're targeting the dormant Guardian. Maya's blood ran cold. The enemy had arrived ahead of schedule, and they were heading straight for their vulnerable sibling. The salvage ships, finally realizing what they were truly facing, were already fleeing. How long to intercept? 10 minutes at maximum speed. But Maya, energy readings suggest this is not a scouting force. These are hunter-killers. Maya squared her shoulders. Then it's time to show them what we can do. All ships, battle formation. We're not losing another Guardian. Their small fleet move is 5 Guardian ships linked through Maya's neural network. As they dropped out of FTL, the scene before them was chaos. The enemy vessels were unlike anything human science had encountered, ships that seemed to be made of living darkness, absorbing light and energy around them. They had already engaged the salvage ships, their weapons cutting through shields and hulls with terrifying ease. The dormant Guardian lay defenseless, its systems still offline. Analysis, Maya commanded, feeling Guardian's combat protocols engaging across the fleet. Enemy vessels utilizing gravity-based weapons. They're attempting to create localized singularities to consume their targets. Conventional shields ineffective. Maya watched as a salvage ship vanished into one of these artificial black holes, crushed into nothing. Can we counter it? Uncertain. Historical records indicate my creators never found an effective defense. That's why they transcended physical form. Yeah, well, that's not an option for us. Maya's mind raced, drawing on both human creativity and Guardian knowledge. Wait, the neural network. If we combine our shields, create a synchronized energy field. She felt Guardian's surprise as it grasped her idea. Theoretical models suggest possible success, but the neural load on your implant would be extreme. Better than being crushed into a singularity. Do it. Power surged through the Guardian fleet as Maya directed their combined energy through the neural network. A barrier of pure energy formed between them and the enemy vessels, its pattern constantly shifting and adapting. The artificial singularity splashed against it like waves on a shore. The enemy ships paused, clearly surprised by this new defense. Then they changed tactics, combining their power into a single massive gravitational weapon. Maya felt the strain through her implant as their shield began to buckle. We need more power. Rerouting all available energy, Guardian announced. But Maya, the dormant ship, its core is still intact. If we could establish a connection, we'd have the power we need, Maya finished. Can you get me there? The space between ships is highly unstable due to gravitational distortion. Transport would be extremely dangerous. Maya managed a grim smile. When has that ever stopped us? She felt Guardian's reluctance war with its trust in her. Finally, it said, setting course. The others will maintain the shield. Their approach to the dormant Guardian was like trying to fly through a hurricane made of gravity itself. Maya's stomach lurched as space twisted around them, the enemy's weapons distorting the fabric of reality. They reached the ship's airlock just as another gravitational wave hit. Maya was moving before Guardian could protest, rushing through the dormant ship's corridors toward its core chamber. The neural load from maintaining the fleet's shield was already giving her a nosebleed, but she couldn't stop now. The core chamber was exactly where she expected it to be. Guardian ships all shared the same basic design. Maya approached the dormant core, placing her hand on its housing. Come on, wake up. Your family needs you. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, lights began to flicker across the core's surface. A new consciousness brushed against her mind, confused but responding to the familiar neural patterns it sensed through her implant. That's it, Maya encouraged. Feel what I feel. See what we're fighting. Help us. The dormant Guardians' awakening was like a shockwave through their neural network. Power surged through their combined consciousness as another set of ancient weapons came online. Maya felt her implant burning as she struggled to channel the increased energy, but she held on. Through their shared vision, she watched as the enemy ships recoiled from their strengthened shield. The combined power of 6 Guardian vessels, synchronized through a human neural network, was something they had never encountered before. Now, Maya commanded, and the Guardian fleet responded as one. Weapons that hadn't been fired in millennia roared to life. Not just energy beams and gravitational counters, but something more fundamental. The pure mathematical certainty of Guardian technology combined with the intuitive leaps of human consciousness. The enemy vessels, for the first time in their ancient existence, found themselves facing something they couldn't simply consume. Their gravitational weapons couldn't penetrate a shield that adapted as fast as human thought. Their dark energy couldn't absorb attacks that came from 6 different quantum dimensions simultaneously. One by one, the enemy ships began to retreat, their perfect coordination shattered by this new and impossible hybrid force. As the last vessel vanished into the void, Maya finally allowed herself to collapse, her neural implant smoking slightly. Maya. Guardian's presence wrapped around her mind, supporting her failing systems. Medical protocols engaging. Neural load critical. Did we win? She managed to ask. The enemy has withdrawn. But Maya, they will return. With greater numbers. She nodded weakly. Good thing we're just getting started. Help me up. We need to find the rest of your siblings. As Guardian's medical systems worked to stabilize her, Maya felt the combined consciousness of their fleet. Now 6 strong, resonating with shared purpose. The enemy had expected to find the same galaxy they terrorized eons ago. Instead, they'd found something new. Human adaptability and Guardian power evolved together into something greater than the sum of its parts. You know, Maya said, once she could stand again, your creators transcended physical form to escape the enemy. But maybe there's another way. Maybe instead of running from our limitations, we need to embrace them. Human and Guardian. Flesh and quantum mechanics. Emotion and logic. Not transcendence. Evolution. Through their neural link, she felt Guardian considering this. The next confrontation will be more difficult. The enemy will adapt. So will we. Maya smiled, feeling the strength of their combined fleet flowing through her consciousness. That's what humans do best. We adapt, we evolve, and we never stop fighting. The Guardian ships hummed in agreement, their ancient power harmonizing with human determination. As they set course for the next dormant signal, Maya knew that this was just the beginning. The enemy would return, stronger and more numerous, but they would find humanity and the Guardians ready, not as master and machine, but as partners in the next step of evolution. Together, they would write a new chapter in the story of both their species, and this time, the darkness between the stars wouldn't find easy prey. It would find a light it couldn't extinguish.